You're listening to Bro Down Podcast all fucking day. Oh, yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bro Down Podcast. I'm Tim Fulton.
I'm Andy Smith.
And this is Fight Fan Weekly.
Fight Fan Weekly.
On Fight Fan Weekly, we're going to be talking about the upcoming fights for this Saturday.
So you see Fight Night 170? I think so.
Is it 170?
It might not be, but I'm going to make that number up.
So this is definitively Fight Night 170.
Okay, definitively.
Lee versus Oliveira. Olivieri?
Olivier. Yeah.
Lee versus
Charles Oliveira. Sorry. you have me all fucked up with Olivier.
We're going to be getting to the main event in just a minute, but first we're going to be talking about Johnny Walker versus Nikita Krylov.
Okay, so Johnny Walker, the up-and-coming star,
who was stopped.
Garnered a lot of attention, and then he was stopped by Corey Anderson, Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Anderson prefers good bourbon.
Yeah.
A lot of people probably make those jokes. Sorry.
After he lost, there was a lot of talk about his coaches coming out and saying that he was unfocused. He was being really like prima donna-y.
Okay.
Not wanting to listen. Inviting girls up to his room like the whole week before the fight. So their assessment, or at least some of his coaches' assessment from what I had heard or read, was that his new fandom or stardom was like getting to his head.
Yeah.
So I think this is probably a smart move to not ask for somebody that's like really big name, high level, to kind of take a step back. Nobody in the UFC is an easy fight, but
of course not.
Yeah, it's not. This guy is not, at least on paper, to the level of Corey Anderson.
Okay.
So, like, doesn't have the record, all that, doesn't have the name. So I think that
it's almost like a step backwards, but a purposeful one.
Yeah, I think because, Johnny Walker didn't beat any superstar names. I mean, Corey Anderson would have been the biggest feather in his cap up to that point.
Yeah.
And then they were talking about having him fight for the title next. So I think it probably important, or at least probably better it happened now than later, if that's his attitude going into it, if we're taking their coaches at their word for it, because that kind of mentality can really mess you up, and especially if that fight happens like too late in your career, you don't want to change. So
yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see how he comes out, though, because he is a wild kind of a dude, and he
wild style.
Yeah, and that's why people like him, but he didn't work out for him in the last fight.
Yeah, I guess if you get too lax about it and like you're not taking it seriously.
Yeah. But all that being said, he is a spectacular talent. He brings a lot of power. So, gun to my head, I'd have to go with Johnny Walker, because I don't know Krylov very well, but so I'll go with Walker.
I'm going to agree with you on this one. Not that
I don't like making picks. I don't like making picks.
That's the point of the show.
I know.
We've talked about this.
I know. I just hate making picks. I don't like betting against people.
All right. Well, you have to do it a couple more times.
I know.
Up next for the co-main event, we have Damian Maia versus Gilbert Burns.
Okay, so this one, okay.
We've seen both of these guys fight many times, and I remember none of them. I have the memory of a goldfish. I barely know who you are. It's basically like having a conversation with Dory over here. So enlighten.
Just keep swimming, Tim. Just keep swimming.
Just keep swimming.
Just keep swimming.
Just keep squatting. Something we couldn't release.
Yeah. So this one is like a grappler's fan favorite.
Ooh, that
fight.
excites me.
Yeah, both of these guys are high level grapplers, submission guys, and Gilbert Burns just submitted Gunnar Nelson, who's also known for his submission game, which was crazy. And Damian Maia, as you know, submitted Ben Askren.
Yeah.
So I believe this is Damian Maia's swan song. I think this is going to be his last fight. I think he said
Oh, wow,
that.
really?
Yeah, I think this is more I think he actually handpicked this fight, or maybe Gilbert asked for it, or he was asking for somebody who was a grappler. I guess because he knows he's not going to get another title shot. I mean, I think he's 40 years old, Damian, or maybe he's a little older than that. He's up there. And I think he knows he's not, doesn't want to, or is not going to get another title shot. So I think he wants this kind of a matchup.
That's really,
yeah.
That's super interesting. I guess if you are going to go out and you're able to choose, you're going to go out on the type of match that you want to.
Yeah, and
If he doesn't want to do a standing brawl game, then why do it?
Yeah. I think he also deserves, at this point in his career, he's been around for a long time. So if anyone has like some kind of say in what they do at the end of their career, I think, Damian's by far deserves a little bit of say in who he fights, especially since he's not making a run for the title.
Yeah.
When you're making a run for the title, you kind of have to take whatever they give you.
To kind of prove yourself.
Yeah, but if you're, you only got a couple fights left in your contract, you're a decently big name, you can wait around for fights that probably make more money or make more sense to you. But Gilbert Burns is he's a gamer, dude. This is going to be a good one.
How
a nice
young
grappling
is he?
match.
He looks young.
Yeah, I don't know how old he is, but
Can we look that up?
I think he's like 30. He might be 30
I believe you.
or 35. 33?
33.
Okay, so split the difference.
Split the difference. I'm going to zoom in there just because.
Yeah, so
I'm not going to be able to find that again.
he
Yeah, 33.
Yeah, 33. Yeah, but this one's gonna be a good one for all the grappling fans out there. I'm sure a lot of jiu-jitsu gyms are gonna be watching this fight. But
Take notes.
This one's a really hard one to pick because they're both so good. I think that Maia is more. He has more of like the. I'm not saying he has more of it, but his style is more like more, relies a lot less on like athletic movement, more like chess game.
Okay.
But you can't make a mistake with him, and he's got a grip. Everyone talks about how good his, like,
I
how
vaguely
strong
remember you
his grip
saying
is.
the same thing when he was up against Askren, saying like, you can't make one mistake.
No, you
against
can't.
This guy.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Burns, I feel like he has more explosive and athletic attributes than Maia. I think Maia is one of those guys who wasn't gifted with explosive power, so he just had to change his game to that.
Yeah.
Whereas Burns has that ammunition if he needs it. So it's going to be really interesting.
That's dope.
Yeah, it's going to be good. I can't pick one with this. I'm a 50-50 split. I have no idea who's going to win this, and I don't even have.
You drive me insane. It's literally the show. It's what we're.
All right, I'll go with Maia then. It's a swan song. Let's see him come away with the victory.
All right, that's fair. I'll give that one to you. And last but not least, we have Kevin Lee versus, I already forget how to pronounce this.
Charles Oliveira.
Against Charles in Charge.
Just say olive and then era.
Olive oil.
Yes, that's it.
Charles Olive Oil.
Charles Olive Oil. So
Bye-bye.
Kevin Lee is one of those interesting cases where he was meteoric rise, and then he got staph infection and fought with staph infection, and he lost. And then I think his trainer passed away.
Ooh.
So he had a lot of problems, and he was trying to find his camp, and he had a rough couple months, couple years there. But he is one of those talents where he has the physical attributes, he's got the mental. It's just a matter of piecing them all in sync. But when he does, he's world champion level.
Yeah.
I think that his potential is probably, especially at this point in the career, is probably greater than Oliveira's. Not saying Oliveira can't by well win this fight, but I think Kevin Lee's time is coming. I think that when he's at his new camp, I believe he's training with Firas Zahabi up at where George St. Pierre trains in Canada.
Okay, yeah.
I think that with those coaches, someone like him, that's his last fight where he had the head kick knockout. I think everything's starting to come together for him. As long as something crazy doesn't happen, I think that we're going to see Kevin be fighting for a title pretty soon.
Okay, that'd be chill to see.
Yeah. So Oliveira's always game. He's not a quitter. He always brings it. But I think Kevin is just going to be a little too much talent, a little too much youth, a little too much everything for him. So
chill.
I'm going with Kevin on this.
Turning the topic over real quick. Speaking of GSP, there was a lot of hype over him for a while and whether or not he would return.
Yeah.
Everything got super quiet. I haven't heard anything, but your head is more in the MMA news world than I am.
Yeah. So there's a weird, like, interesting when you think about it this way. And I didn't think about this till I heard a couple people say it. But when you hear people talking about fighting each other, like guys trying to get a fight made when there's no fight made, they talk a lot of smack. There's a lot of talk, this, that, and the other thing, and you hear about it. And then usually what happens if you go back, as soon as that fight is made behind closed doors, the talking stops.
Oh.
Because they don't want anyone to know about it until they announce it.
Oh.
So they basically say, guys, like, chill out, don't say nothing until we announce this. So it's interesting because it could mean that just this kind of fluttered out and the right matchup wasn't there. Or it could mean that they are waiting to see, hey, maybe he's going to fight at 155 Khabib versus Tony winner.
Okay, that would be super exciting.
And maybe they don't want to. It's like they don't want to take eyes off of that fight by talking about GSP coming in and fighting him. I'm not saying that this is going to happen.
I'm taking this as verbatim truth.
Yeah, 100%. Just write it in stone. Put a Wikipedia page up. But it does make sense to let that kind of on the back burner so that you can promote the current fight.
Yeah, one thing at a time. Let's get the current hype up.
Yeah.
Which there has been a lot of hype for that fight.
Oh yeah, that's going to be fantastic.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the also too, it's like you can't really hype that up for the fight unless you just say the winner of, because you start making people have to pick, well, who do you want to see more, Khabib or Tony? And then as soon as one of those guys wins or loses, if it's the right guy, then bravo, you sold the fight. But if it's the other guy, it's like you just put all this promotional effort into a fight that now doesn't make sense.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
or at least in the eyes of other people, well,
yeah,
isn't right.
And the other difficult thing with George, and a lot of people, some people got upset about it, was that he had such a long time off, 4 or 5 years, and he immediately came in for a title shot at 185, a weight class he had never fought at. And he won the title against Michael Bisping. A lot of people were saying, well, Michael wasn't really that good of a champion. You know, it's kind of like striking while the iron's hot, so to speak.
Yeah.
And for him to come in again, if it is at 155, it's another weight class that he never fought at that he's coming in and immediately getting a title shot for.
That's true.
So I still would want to see it.
I would want to see it too. I mean, normally I would agree with those types of people that like you have to like prove yourself, blah 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 blah. You know, I get super annoyed over like the false retirement things, but at the same time, it's GSP.
Yeah, especially it's interesting too because the older GSP gets, the less like there's that gut feeling where you're just kind of like, eventually this is going to either tarnish his career because he stepped back in too late.
Yeah,
like he just was a little too old, and especially at the younger weight classes, you don't see guys fighting at 155 at 40.
Yeah.
You see a couple guys do it at heavyweight and at light heavyweight, but when you get down to, and you got Yoel Romero, who's a freak, but the lighter weight classes, youth is...
He's not 170.
Yeah, 185.
185.
But youth is like, I think, more of a factor because of the speed and everything like that, but who the hell knows? It's GSP.
Yeah. It's GSP.
There's GSP and there's everybody else. So
we will have to wait and see.
Yeah.
At any rate, you guys can go wait and see over at brodownpro.com. Was there anything else you wanted to add?
I don't think so. I think we're good.
Go to brodownpro.com today. Get all of your cool gear such as t-shirts, hoodies, all that other good shit. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment down below who you think is going to win this weekend and who you want to see GSP fight next, if you want to see him fight at all.
Yeah, because we're going to be watching Romero versus Adesanya tonight.
We are.
Ooh, crazy. I'm scared.
So excited.
I'm super scared.
I'm so excited.
You had to take it there. All right.
We'll see you guys next time.
You're listening to Bro Down Podcast all fucking day.